Hi guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, your weekly look into the store, into what's going on in the store, into what's new into the store, in the new comic releases, movie, TV news, a little look at some variants as well, and pretty much everything in between in the world of comics. So I'm recording this as ever on the Tuesday, just day before New Comic Book Day, which this week is the 25th of May. So as ever, take you through bits and pieces within the store. First of all, as I was saying last week, Marvel section is completely bulked out. The single issues for DC I'm working away on now. I've so far got through Action Comics, Aquaman, Animal Man, all other A's, and I'm nearly finished Batman now. The joy with doing the Batman section is there's so many individual mini-series, individual titles, but again, what I'll be doing is making sure that the titles on top are packed out with new stuff, repriced as well. A lot of them have come down in price, and also repricing and redoing everything underneath. So always remember the comics are there underneath as well. I think a lot of guys look at the boxes underneath and think that they're not to be looked at. Not at all. They're all organized as well. Same with the Marvel section. I've also managed to get about 30 new packs out this week as well. So complete runs, complete mini-series. Complete runs of things like Keenan Black, complete runs of things like Lois Lane, complete runs like Action Comics when Bendis took over with Leviathan Rising, complete indie series. So lots of good stuff there as well. What else have we got? We've got new figures coming in soon with my supplier through Cambridge. Got some really expensive ones coming in. A couple for you wrestling fans out there, for example. Some absolute top-end Undertaker statues coming in. We've got some new Superman ones coming in. There's loads of stuff that's going to be happening over the next few weeks as well. We're wanting to make sure the store is as packed out, as impressive as possible, A, at all times, but B, certainly before we have the Ram D signing, which, as I'm sure you're bored listening to me by now, but I'm going to keep reminding you, is June 11th, the Saturday. So that is 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, completely free. And again, I've been working hard and getting loads of stuff behind the scenes that he's worked on to make sure we have that in store on the day. We have around 75 CGCs. They're in the post at the moment, so hopefully they'll be back before the weekend, possibly early next week, we shall see. And just a little note as well, anybody who's looking to have some stuff sent off this month, the deadline is this weekend, so we are giving it to the end of May. What we try to do is we do it in 2-month blocks at a time, so this will be the last submission until the end of July. So if you have anything out there that you like sent off, do get it into us. We take a 50% deposit up front in most cases, and then you can pay the rest off when you pick it up. So as I say, anything you want to drop in, let us know and we'll take care of that for you as well. So yeah, outside of that, store's all good, really can't complain. So that's the store taken care of. So we've got loads of stuff to get through with regards to what's new in this week, with my own pull list, with the variant section, movie and TV news. I'll just kick things off with the movie and TV news. I'm trying to work out the best format for this. I think get all the new stuff out of the way early and then just start showing off the cool products brand new in store as well. I mean, when it comes to TV and movie news, there's probably only one place to start this week, and that was with the drop-in of the trailer for Thor Love and Thunder. So we'd already had a teaser one just to have a little look at the style of the movie. As if we needed a look, let's be honest, with Taika Waititi involved, it's going to look very much like Thor Ragnarok. But we got a full trailer drop this morning, and I enjoyed it. I thought it gave a good look at the relationship between Thor and Jane. I thought it showed off more of Jane Foster in the Thor guise. I thought it had some comedic moments. I've seen some blowback on the tone of this movie, that a lot of people are saying Thor should be much more serious. I'm all for this tone. It's established by now. It's not out of left field. This is a Thor that has changed throughout the MCU, and this is the iteration of Thor in the movies. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be the exact same as the comics. So although I do still hold a special place for Thor 1, I think it was one of the best origin movies in the MCU, which sort of struck the balance maybe a little better. Maybe we lean more on the comedic side, but you know what? The way the world is right now, how upside down it is, I'm looking to go to the movies and have a good time and have a few laughs. So I have no problem with the tone of this movie. You had the first look at Christian Bale as Gore, the God Butcher. I thought it looked really good as well. I think what's interesting about the trailer, if you go back and look at it, there's been some people, again, the negativity of the internet never ceases to amaze me. But it seems that anytime there's a look for a character, people look for comedic characters to compare it to. So She-Hulk came out, so of course it had to look like Shrek. I've seen some people now posting that this has to look like Uncle Fester out of the Addams Family. it's just give this stuff a break, just embrace it. It's also a trailer, it's not the final look. But the thing that I noticed with the trailer is the first introduction of Gore is almost in shadow, and you can really see the piercing eyes and the mouth. And I think that looks more in line with the comic counterpart, so to speak. So I have a feeling that you're going to see Christian Bale in this role, the look change throughout the movie and evolve throughout the movie. The one thing I would hope that this is not a one and done in terms of Gore the God Butcher, because that is a brilliant villain. Deserves much more time than just being squeezed into one movie, which, let's be honest, you're already dealing with, Thor getting back in shape and trying to reclaim his mantle. You've got Jane Foster, Thor to explain, you've got Valkyrie to explain, you've got the Guardians in there, you've got Korg in there. So there's tons going on with this. So my only fear is that you're going to get like 20 minutes worth of Gore and you might not see more. For me, you don't need to defeat the villain in this movie. Even stretch it across 2 movies, even 3, what the MCU needs for me, and they did it with Thanos so well, is a villain that carries on through movies. You don't need to kill every single one of them off at the end of each movie. So, but yeah, bottom line, I think it looks great. But as great as it looks, it's not quite as good looking as the trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. So this is going to be the finale of the Mission Impossible movies under the current sort of Tom Cruise stewardship. Oh my god, this trailer looks incredible. The cinematography, the look of the movie, the stunts being shown, the characters in the movie, the cast, everything about this movie looks on point. The only frustrating thing is we're getting the trailer on May 23rd and it's not out until 2023. So long wait for that one, but if you have not watched that trailer for Mission Impossible, go and watch it. It is phenomenal looking. It originally leaked, I think it was on Saturday night going into Sunday morning. I saw a few comic creators retweet it. Francesco Francavilla was one, but it was very promptly shut down, and then they did a proper trailer reveal on Monday there through Tom Cruise's social media channels. But oh my god, that movie looks incredible. So that's the movie side of things. I mean, in terms of the comic side of things, there were a few cool looking announcements that came out. I should say the previews books arrived this week. So those are going to be the previews, the June solicits, so to speak, for August releases. And then we will get a podcast up on that hopefully next week. We're planning to do a reviews one tonight, release that tomorrow. Again, we want to get into the habit, Keith and I, of doing podcast stuff and releasing it on the Wednesday. So you've got the YouTube show on the Tuesday, you got podcast on the Wednesday. So we'll get a previews one out, go through the books, tell you what we think. Of course, in store behind the counter, there will be the chalkboards, again, breaking down what we like the look of. So, it's so important with pre-orders, it gives us an indication of what to order. I should just say very quickly as well with regards to pull lists, if there's anything you're not enjoying or you no longer want a pull list, just let us know. We've had a few in the last 2 weeks with people I've reached out to just for clarification, or, would they like us to do a delivery to them, or would they like us to cancel their pull list? And I'm not even getting a response. We're the most laid back people in the world, easiest to cancel stuff with. If you're not enjoying something, quick text, done. It just gives us an idea of what to order. And also we're holding back comics for people for their pull lists, which is then denying other people the chance to, maybe pick up those titles. So again, if you have a pull list with us and you don't want one anymore, just let us know, please. Or if there's titles you want to take off or titles you want to add, again, simple message, you're good to go. And end negatively. But yeah, as I say, the previews boards I'll get done in the next day or two and get up our picks there. But again, there will be a podcast. I mean, speaking of the podcast, I hope you guys caught the Torun Grombeck interview, which we posted last week. That woman is amazing. That was such a fun interview to do. Quite sweary though, just to pre-warn you. But so much fun to chat to. I think we ended up chatting for a good hour and a half or so. So definitely check that out. And it'll give you a little bit of an insight into the upcoming Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor. And also for Punisher War Journal as well. But anyway, yeah, as I said, the previews books arrived, and there were a couple of comics announcements around those that won't be in this previews book, but are definitely worth letting you guys know about. So first of all, there's a new Mark Waid series coming out, and it's going to be in September. So this will be the following previews book, and it's called Batman vs. Robin. Now, what's great about it is it's great to see Mark Waid back at DC and living life. He's doing great work with Batman, Superman, World's Finest. A couple issues in with Dan Moore on art, and he's got another superstar artist with this one, which is Mahmoud Asrar. He's been doing great work on Marvel for years, especially around the Conan titles, for example, a little bit of Thor as well. So the series, which will feature oversized issues, sees the always fraught relationship between Bruce Wayne and his son Damien bubble over into a full-blown conflict. DC is calling it an epic battle of icons years in the making. Well, they're hardly going to call it, a boring fight between father and son. But yeah, again, with the talent involved here, I think this is going to be a great series. It's just going to be a 5-issue miniseries, so definitely one to keep an eye for, and that's coming in September. Another big one was definitely Batman related, and this is going towards the end of the year and into next year. Now, this is going to be a series of one-shots. It's basically Batman's Rogues Gallery is getting the spotlight in a new series of one-shots from an all-star cast of comic book creators. So they're going to be 64-page one-shots, and each one's going to tackle a different villain. So it's called Batman One Bad Day, and then it will be Two-Face, Riddler, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Catwoman, Bane, Clayface, and Ra's al Ghul. Some of the creators announced so far are Tom King, Mitch Gerads, Tom Taylor, Ivan Rice, G. Willow Wilson, Jimmy McKelvey, John Ridley, and there will be more as well. It looks like the first one is going to be Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler, which is from the team of Tom King and Mitch Gerads. You've got Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face by Mariko Tamaki, Javier Fernandez, and Jordi Belair. Batman One Bad Day, The Penguin by John Ridley, Giuseppe Camuncoli. Batman One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze by Jerry Dugan, Matteo Scalera. And then you've got a few others there. You've, Catwoman, G. Willow Wilson, Jimmy McKelvey, Bane, Joshua Williamson, Howard Porter, Clayface by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing. They're guys that we keep praising how much good work they're doing over at Marvel. And Sir Manico on art for that one. And then definitely one to look forward to, Ra's al Ghul by Tom Taylor and Ivan Rice as well. So yeah, there's a ton of great stuff to look forward to there. Premium format one-shots. By the look of it, they're just going to be square bound. They're not going to be premium plus size. So it's going to be quite similar to, say, Batman Last Night on Earth in that sense. So definitely one to keep an eye on there. What else have we got here? So I saw this one that Marvel are going to release a new Alien series this summer. It's going to be around August. So again, one to keep up for. There's going to be a new Alien comic series from Phil Kennedy Johnson and artist Julius Ota as well, which will depict the deadly xenomorph serving as a treacherous threat, but also as potentially being the key to humanity's salvation. There's some really cool preview art has been shown off for that as well. I mean, I'm enjoying the Alien stuff so far. It seems to be going back to a number one. It's almost like they're doing them in 12-issue sort of batches, and that works for me because then you give people a brand new starting point. If it's an ongoing series, I'm not a fan of renumbering, but if they're mini-series or maxi series, then renumber is a good way to go because it's easier for us as a store to communicate to people, here's your starting point, here's a brand new number one, etc., etc. So yeah, plenty to look forward to there in terms of TV, movies, and all the rest. Definitely catch those trailers again because both of them I thought looked great. So that is that. So we'll move on then to the new stuff this week. So we'll kick things off with the variant section. So everyone seems to be enjoying this, getting good feedback on it. We're starting to order more and more variants in as well. So again, these will always be available in store on New Comic Book Day. But as ever, if you see ones that appeal to you, maybe drop me a message and snap them up. I should say as well, if you ask us to hold something over, try and pick it up relatively quickly. Again, I've got a few things held over there that guys said they'd be back in within a week. And here we are a month later. And I don't want guys to be disappointed when they come back in to collect something, but we can only hold things so long. But yeah, kick things off, we've got Hulk. This is Hulk number 7, so this is Banner of War Part 3, which is the Hulk-Thor crossover. This is J. Scott Campbell. I've still got a couple of the Thor ones, also by J. Scott Campbell, so they essentially make a 2-part set. So that is this week. Unsurprisingly, hiding the feet for Moon Knight is Rob Liefeld. So a new variant cover for this. This is issue 11 of Moon Knight. And as I say, Rob Liefeld variant cover there. We have Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. Number 1, so variant cover depicting the Winter Soldier of 2099 and what looks to be the Crossbones 2099, and this is a Ron Lim variant cover. New Punisher issue this week, so we have Punisher variant. This is by an artist I'm not too familiar with, Takashi Ozazaki, but it's definitely one I'll be keeping an eye out for. Very dynamic, great colors, I thought. So that is Punisher number 3. This is one actually from last week, but the copies that arrived in were damaged, so I ordered in some new ones. So what we have here is Catwoman 43. So we're continuing the Jenny Frisson cardstock variant covers, and this looks to be used in that sort of negative space type style as well, where it blends in with the background. I know John Tyler Christopher did quite a few of those with Marvel that proved very popular. This week we have DC versus Vampires Hunters, which is a one-shot that ties into the main series. This one's a great homage series, which is by Miko Suyan, which is depicting, obviously, Damian Wayne and also Nightwing in the back, an homage to an old Robin cover. Next up from Derek Chu, we have Deathstroke number 9. So here we are, showing off Ravager. And this is also part of the Shadow War ongoing event that is going through Batman, Robin, and Deathstroke Inc. We have Detective Comics 1060. This is, of course, done by Lee Bermejo. I mentioned last week about Lee Bermejo using all of his covers to tell a story. So this is another one that's incorporated into that. So that's Detective 1060. Next up is Harley Quinn number 15. This is from Derek Chu. Again, cardstock cover. 9 times out of 10, the DC variants are going to be cardstock covers. They understand that you're primarily buying a variant for the cover. So they put great effort into making them cardstock, making them more durable, making them present better, and then, of course, keeping the trade dress to a minimum. Next up, to celebrate AAPI Heritage Month, we have a cover for Robin number 14. This is done by Dexter Soy. So this is another one that is tying into Shadow War, of course. And we've got Connor Hawke there sitting having dinner with Damien. We have Bloodstained Teeth this week, which of course is the great Christian Ward, Patrick Reynolds Vampire Tale. Issue 2 is this week, and this variant is done by Martin Simmons, who does such amazing work on Department of Truth. So a perfect fit for a horror series. And then we finish off with the Something is Killing the Children. These are the die cut covers, so this is a die cut flap that comes around. Jenny Frisson does the main art, showing off Erica Slaughter. And there's both the bloody ones where you can see the splashes of blood, and there's the non-bloody ones as well. We have both of those in stock, but didn't really see a point in showing both of them. So that is the variant section for this week. So we go from variants then to what is new in this week. So new in this week is the familiar sort of style of, we got omnibuses, we got some oversized editions, we got some hardcovers, we got some soft covers. There's new stuff just out this week. There's restocks of older stuff as well. So a little bit of everything as usual. I don't have the figures here, but we did a decent order for figures this week as well. There's some Boba Fett figures in. There's some pops in to do with Batman and Van Halen, and some music ones and Captain Carter. We also got some Invincible figures in as well, which are Invincible himself and also Omni-Man. So those are new ones in as well. But I always just like to focus on the reading side of things, so we have the all of that here. So we kick things off with one of my favorite series of last year, which was Eat the Rich. This was a 5-issue miniseries. Sarah Gailey writing, Pius Back on art. This reminded me of Get Out quite substantially. It's all about a young couple going to the man's hometown where they have some weird practices, and the girl's very nervous about meeting the parents for the first time. The boy wants to propose, all this kind of stuff, but it goes down a very dark horror route, and as I say, it reminds me of Get Out quite a lot. Next up is a big omnibus. Oh, it's a heavy one. So we have Moon Knight. This is one with the Alex Ross cover. This is Moon Knight Volume 2. So it's primarily Doug Moennick and Bill Sienkiewicz. This covers a lot of Moon Knight stuff. You've got Moon Knight 21 to 38. You've got an Iron Man issue, Power Man and Iron Fist issues, Marvel Team Up issues, Moon Knight 1 to 6. You've got Marvel Fanfare issues. So you got the guts of a good 40 to 45 issues in there. So really substantial. We do have Moon Knight Volume 1 as well in the omnibus style. So you certainly have the option of getting Volume 1 and Volume 2. Back in stock is Watchmen. Watchmen's one of those staples that I love to have on the shelves at all times. So I was horrified last week when we sold our last copy. So I had to make sure I got it back in stock. So Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, top 3 comics of all time. Top 2 comics of all time. It's not quite Dark Knight Returns, but it's probably number 2 in my list of top comics. Well, no, it's probably number 3 actually, because Why Last Man's up there. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. But suffice to say, absolutely essential, and that's the entire of Watchmen all in one volume. Some volumes here of Walking Dead. So again, Walking Dead, I'm trying my best again to have the whole run-in on the shelves. So depending where you are reading-wise, when you come in, we'll have the next volume. So you've got Volume 10 back in stock, Volume 7, we've got Volume 5, Volume 3, and Volume 1 for anybody looking to get started on The Walking Dead. As well as doing that with Walking Dead, I've been doing it with a few other series we'll come across here, I am sure. Saga is one of them. I got Volume 4 back in stock this week. 9 volumes released, of course, so far in trade. And now we're back in single issues. And I'm sure I'll come across Volume 1 back in stock here as well. And again, plenty of volume 1s back in stock for anybody looking to get into Saga. Another big Omni, this is a brand new one this week. So this is The Amazing Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski. So Straczynski was on for a good 2 volumes worth of Amazing Spidey. He was the writer around the time 9/11 happened, early 2000s, and pulled off a pretty long run before Dan Slott came in. He has some top level artists with him here, John Romita Jr. and Mike Deodato Jr. as well. So this covers Amazing Spider-Man 30 to 58. Then it goes back to Legacy numbering with 500, sorry. And then it's got 500 to 514. And then also has the 509 director's cut in here as well. So I already own these omnibuses. It's some great Spidey storytelling in these. Love the art style. And yeah, I have to read the second one, but I've read most of the first one. So that is one of those iconic runs back in. We have King Spawn with its first volume here. So again, this is the really good image stuff of volume 1 price points being that £9 or $10. So this collects the first 6 issues of King Spawn. Of course, this is Sean Lewis writing and Javi Fernandez on art as opposed to McFarlane just doing everything. Next up, we have a hardcover for Bingo Love. So this is basically a celebration of independent Pride-related stories. So what you've got in here, you've got stuff from writers such as Gail Simone, you've got Amanda Dybert, Kat Staggs, Megan Hutchinson. You've got tons of great stuff in here, 60 pages of bonus material on top of the original trade paperback that was released. And yeah, a great celebration of Pride for that one. We have volume 2 of Silver Coin, again, one of my favorite horror series. Each issue is an individual one-shot, so to speak, all part of a larger tapestry, but they get great writers and artists involved with this. So I can already see, looking at the side, Joshua Williamson, Ram V, Matthew Rosenberg, Vita Ayala. Great stuff in that Silver Coin 6 to 10. Next up, we have a couple of Aftershock titles. So we have History's Greatest Swashbucklers Uniting. This is 7 Swords. This is from Evan Doherty and Federico Dalicino. And again, this is a complete mini-series. This was 1 to 5. And yeah, I've heard really good stuff about this. Haven't read it myself, but basically history's greatest swords people coming together. One I have read though, and definitely one for fans of Asian cinema or things like The Raid or John Woo movies. This is called Search for Hugh. So I spoke about this before being on my pull list. So it's John Tissue and Steve Orlando writing with Rubine doing the art. This was a 5-issue mini-series, and again, it's all about a guy with a dark past, as most of these things are, but a lot of fun and really, really entertaining. I've been getting all the Snyder New 52 stuff back in stock, but I was having trouble getting volume 1, which makes it annoying if you're trying to recommend it, but back in stock. So yeah, Court of Owls, essential. Any Batman fan who's not read Court of Owls needs to remedy that as soon as possible. So Court of Owls contains the first 7 issues all together, and then you have the second volume, which is on the shelves, which is called The City of Owls as well. Also this week is Magic Order 2 from Mark Millar and Stuart Immonen. This is continuing on the absolutely brilliant Harry Potter meets Goodfellas vibe of Mark Millar's original Magic Order, and was just as good. Volume 3 is on the way later in the year as well. We have X-Men 92 as well, The World is a Vampire. So this is a series they did in 2016, X-Men 92. This contains the full 5 issues of that. So some brand new adventures set in the 92 continuity. I mentioned Dark Knight Returns, back in stock. One of the best, if not the best, Batman story of all time. Essential, can't say more than that. Another Walking Dead volume, we have volume 9 as well, again continuing to get that whole run in. We have some Star Wars starting points here, with this is the start of the most recent Marvel ongoing. So this is Star Wars volume 1, The Destiny Path. So this contains again the first 6 issues. Charles Soule, Jesus Says. I already mentioned Saga, back in stock, volume 1, $10 or £9. We have a new Moon Knight one back in stock. This is Jed McKay and Alessandro Capuccio. We've talked at length again about how good this Moon Knight reinvention is. Jed McKay again at the center of everything good in the Marvel Universe at the moment. Back in stock as well, Department of Truth. We had volume 3 launched recently. Volumes 1 and 2, top-ups needed to be done. Again, volume 1's your $10 price point, your £9 trade. And then we've got volume 2 as well. So if you want to get into Department of Truth, all the volumes are in stock. I may have mentioned this little title before, Deadly Class. You're probably bored hearing about it. Tough. It's great. So this is volume 3 and volume 5. So again, just filling in those blanks on the shelves and making sure we have the entire run on there. Next up we have in stock is Heartstopper. So this is a Netflix series. Now I haven't watched it myself, but I hear nothing but great things about it. This is first volume. I believe there's 4 volumes in total. But for anybody who wants to get into that, we made sure to get a good few copies in. It's black and white. It's almost like a manga style, but it's not read in a traditional manga way. It doesn't start at the back and then read back to front. You read front to back as normal. So I've no doubt that'll prove popular. Back in stock as well is the Moon Knight run from Jeff Lemire and Greg Smallwood and Jordi Belair. Again, this was the 14-issue mini-series back from 2016, and absolutely brilliant. That's one of my favourite Moon Knight runs. Another new omnibus in this week. This is a bit of an old school omnibus, but what this is Ultimate Marvel. So this is back when Marvel launched the Ultimate Universe. Now we've got Ultimate Spider-Man volumes on the shelves, but what this is this is the first sort of volume of 4 of their top Ultimate series. So what you've got here is Ultimate Spider-Man 1 to 7, you got Ultimate X-Men 1 to 6, the Ultimates 1 to 6, and Ultimate Fantastic Four 1 to 6. You've got people involved here such as Brian Michael Bendis, Mark Millar, Mark Bagley, Adam Kubert, Andy Kubert, Brian Hitch. Tons of great creators involved in this. And if you want an introduction to the Ultimate Universe of Marvel, that's where you do it. Next up we have Black Bolt. I got this in stock a few weeks back. We promptly sold out. Of course, this was after we chatted to Christian Ward. Again, check out the podcast network for that. But if you saw this certain character in a certain movie recently that shall remain unnamed, you know what I'm talking about. If you want to know more about Black Bolt, this is a 12-issue miniseries. It's written by Saladin Ahmed, as well as Christian Ward. Fraser Irvin does some fill-in art as well. And this is fantastic. It was a 12-issue miniseries, as I say. Sorry, it also Stephanie Hans working on it, the die artist, which can't be a bad thing. So yeah, if you want the self-contained title, you know, exploring that character, that's the one to go for. Back in stock we have Batman the Dark Prince Charming. This was done by Enrico Marini. This is a European creator, and it was great to see a European creator get let loose on Batman. I absolutely adore this title. It's again self-contained. It's Batman, it's Joker, it's Harley. Very classic storytelling, but brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then 2 oversized ones to finish off this week. First of all, we have Demon Days. This is from Peach Momoko. Again, Peach Momoko is someone I've talked about in the past. This can be a little bit Marmite, but this is, for my money, this is Peach Momoko's best work. I've been loving these Demon Days one-shots. It's essentially a reinterpretation of the Marvel Universe, like in old samurai era Japan. Brilliant art, brilliant storytelling, heartfelt, very heroic, great interpretations of the characters as well. And it being in this oversized format, it really allows Momoko's art to shine, which I think in being utilized in this sort of era is the perfect match. And then one last oversized edition back in stock this week is History of the Marvel Universe. So this came from Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez. It was a 6-issue miniseries that essentially went over the entirety of Marvel history from its inception right up to modern day. Some of the best art you'll ever see from Javier Rodriguez. And if you want to sort of have an overview of the Marvel Universe, this is the way to do it through that. So yeah, all in this week, all brand new going on to the racks. So we'll move away from that. And of course, we'll move on to my pull list to finish off with. So we come back and onto my pull list. So this is for the releases of this week, which of course, 25th of May, 2022. So just to kick things off, I just talked about it there, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of this Black Bolt run. So this was straight into my pull list as well. Definitely due a reread. Eisner Award winner, how much more can you say? So that was definitely going into my pulls this week. One that I put into my pulls, I actually forgot to put a copy of it here, but we do have more of these in stock that come in this week, which will all be available. This is Journey in the Mystery by Kieran Gillen. When we spoke with Torrin Grombeck last week, she said this was her favourite ever Marvel story. Now, I've never read it, but it covers Journey in the Mystery 622 to 636 and 626.1. So Loki has been reborn as a child, but will he be Asgard's saviour? Fear itself looms and the serpent threatens Earth. The mortal's only hope is that Thor can fulfill an ancient prophecy. But the plan is doomed to fail without help from young Loki, the former Lord of Lies. Only chance of success is to use all the skills of deceit that made him so hated in his past life. But will the reborn godling find redemption or damn himself further? This sounds fantastic. I mean, great artists involved as well. You've obviously got Kieran Gillen writing. You got Doug Brathwaite, Pasquale Ferry, Richard Elson, Wills Portacio, Mitch Breitweister, and you've got beautiful Stephanie Hans covers, which no doubt will be showcased the whole way through in between issues as well. So when I hear comic creators talk about great runs and great stories that are amongst their favourites, I always want to check them out. So made sure to get this sorted in. As I say, there are other copies of that for the racks as well. So my pull list this week, so we kick things off with Saga. Always a good week when there's a new issue of Saga. Fiona Staples, Brian K. Vaughan, of course. We're at issue 59 now, so once we hit issue 60, you can expect the first trade to come. So if you're a trade waiter, you don't have to hold on too much longer. Definitely one to look forward to this week for me, Batman Beyond the White Knight. So we're continuing the Murphyverse. We're continuing the Batman Beyond Murphyverse, if you will. Older Bruce Wayne here as well in the foreground. This series just continues to be a delight. And again, anything Murphyverse is always a good thing. Next up is a Batman title. It seems to have just come in under the radar a little tiny bit. We only had a couple of pre-orders for this, but I ordered a good few in. This is called Batman Fortress. So this is a new one from Gary Whitta and Derek Robertson, who of course is the artist and co-creator of The Boys, on art. So it seems to be messing about with the idea that Superman is missing. You know, you see it in the Frontier Metropolis Live. It's burning, it's on fire. Where is Superman? You know, there's trouble all over the world. So how does Batman step in and help out with that? Next up, we've got that one-shot. I showed it off in the variants earlier, but DC versus Vampires Hunters. So again, a one-shot tying into this brilliant event from Matthew Rosenberg. I also showed this off earlier. I showed a couple of these off earlier, actually. Just let's pull them all out. Deathstroke 9, of course, Shadow War Alpha, continuing that with Joshua Williamson. And then Detective Comics 1060 from Mariko Tamaki as well. So those are both continuing for me. We have Task Force Z this week, issue 8. And again, this series is just so much fun. I mean, this is simultaneously the silliest and most threatening cover you'll ever see. Bane spills the tea. But yeah, all those different wee dolls and stuff. It's a really, really cool cover. So yeah, really like that. Next up, you may have heard me talk about this guy before. He's quite talented. He's coming to the store soon. But Swamp Thing Season 2, we now have a new issue this week. Issue 13 of 16. So continuing on with the swampy stuff. Back in stock is A Town Called Terror. This came out last week. I didn't have enough copies in store for myself. So Steve Niles, Simon Kudransky doing horror stuff. I'm on board for that. Speaking of horror stuff, Bloodstained Teeth. I spoke about it again in the variants. I just prefer this Martin Simmons variant. Cover A is lovely as well. Christian Ward, of course. But I just think that cover is awesome. And speaking of Martin Simmons, it's all planned. It's all part of the plan. Speaking of Martin Simmons, the Department of Truth, new issue this week. We're up to issue 18. So again, I would imagine another trade is not too far away. So James Tynion the Fourth, of course, and Martin Simmons continuing their conspiracy thriller. Back this week is a new volume of Good Boy. I thought this was great. I've pitched it to people before. It's John Wick, but instead of the dog dying and John Wick found revenge, it's the other way around. But we're back for a volume 2, and I really enjoyed volume 1. Just good fun. Also, this should have been out last week, but again, they didn't send me my copies. I had to... Dang. This is called I Hate This Place. So this is from Kyle Starks and Artem Toplin and Lee Lockridge on colours. It was originally solicited as This Place, but they seem to have cleaned it up a little bit and called it I Hate This Place. But I'm looking forward to tucking into that. Another one out this week is Image. This is number 2, so they're continuing on their anthology series, showcasing some new up-and-coming titles, doing some short stories in current titles, a little bit of both. With this one, we've got, Mirko Andolfo doing stuff, Jeff Johns, Andrew Muti, Wes Craig, Scotty Young, W. Maxwell Prince. So tons to look forward to in that. Big emphasis on horror definitely this week. We'll also Philadelphia issue 22, which we have Rodney Barnes, Jason Sean Alexander continuing their great vampire tale. We have The Killer Affairs of the State. This has been a great little Boom Archaea book about a hitman society that I've really, really enjoyed. It sort of flew in under the radar, so I'll definitely be getting trades in when that hits. Next up, we have Naughty List, which is issue 2 of this frankly fun reimagining of Santa Claus, which has been really, really good. Nick Santoro is the writer on this. He was a writer on The Sopranos. Frank Avila covers there, and Lee Ferguson on interiors. Next up, we have Newburn number 7. So again, our good pal Chip is back, along with Jacob Phillips, continuing on the story of Newburn, the sort of mob enforcer. He's halfway between the mob and the police. We have the next issue of Rogue Sun. We're at issue 4 now for Ram Parrott's superhero tale, of course set in the same universe as Radiant Black, Radiant Red, that supermassive one-shot, of course, but great stuff there. We have Sick Tick, Something is Killing the Children. We're up to issue 23, so we're halfway through the 5th story arc of Something is Killing the Children. Oh, there's that man, Chip Zdarsky again. Stillwater is back. This is going to be the final arc, which is a little disappointing, but I'll get over it. But yeah, I love this tale. I think it's brilliant. It's going to end at issue 18, 3 story arcs. So Chip Zdarsky, Ramon K. Perez, about the town where if you live in, you can't age or die. A little bit of Marvel stuff now. We have Amazing Spidey #2 this week. I loved issue 1. Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr. And it's great to see these guys back again, and the usual Parker look there on the front. We're continuing on with the Banner of War stuff. So this is part 3 now. This one is in Hulk, part 2 is in Thor, part 1 was the one-shot, of course. We've got copies of, the previous parts in case you're playing catch-up. But yeah, Hulk #7. Definitely a big one for me this week is Devil's Reign Omega. So this is basically, geez, chips everywhere. This is basically finishing off the Devil's Reign event, setting up the status quo and showing us where Daredevil's going to be when it relaunches as Daredevil #1. Then we have Moon Knight next, so we're at issue 11, Jed MacKay, Alessandro Capuccio, continuing on with Moon Knight, which again has been one of Marvel's best series. And speaking of one of Marvel's best series to finish off with, I thought issue 2 of this was superb. Issue 3 I have high hopes for it as well. Jason Aaron, Jesus Says, Paul Azaceta, Dave Stewart. That's when Frank knew. He was the only one who still heard the screaming and the only one who could make it stop. It is Punisher, showcasing a young Frank Castle there in a Captain America helmet, so bring it on. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. That's your film and TV news. That's your update on the store, variant section, new stuff in this week, and of course my pull list as well. So again, all this stuff will be going out on the racks tomorrow morning, ready for New Comic Book Day, opening at 10 a.m. as we always do. Again, your weekly reminder for the Rambees signing on June 11th. The Saturday, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, completely free signing. And outside of that, I hope you guys are keeping well out there. So I look forward to seeing you hopefully in the store soon. And until then, take it easy.